See my screen. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. What about others? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, Vijay.
Okay. Okay, let me start the session. So in today's class, we'll try to focus on HTML related tags. In HTML, there are two parts here, HTML part 1, HTML part 2. So in HTML part 1, we are going to have some tags. HTML part 2, there are some other tags. Part 2 is important for UI5 Fiori developer. Let us segregate like this. So this HTML part 1, there are some tags, but part 1 is not important for SAP UI5 Fiori developer. You can ignore these things, but today we are going to discuss part 1 because we have to go in continuation. Part 2 is important for, it's very important for SAP UI5 Fiori developer. This we are going to discuss in the next session tomorrow, part 2, which is important. So coming to part 1, there are some heading tags. And there are some formatting tags. And there are control tags. Similarly, list tags and table related tags. HTML part 1, this is not important for UI5 Fiori developer point of view. And it contains heading tags, formatting tags, control tags, list tags, and table tags. In HTML part 2, there is something like marquee tag, iframe tag, and then audio tag, as well as video tag. These are important for UI5 Fiori developer. The last 4 tags are important, which we will be discussing in the next session in tomorrow's class. Just for continuity purpose, we are going to start with part 1 today. So coming to this part 1, heading tags. Heading tags are like H1 tag, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6. So these are all heading tags. You can display the text with heading style. From H1 to H6, the font size will decrease. From H1 to H6, the font size will decrease, and it is to display heading text. Formatting tags, there are different types of tags like paragraph tag, pre-formatted tag, bold tag, italic, INS, text with underline, DEL, text with strikeout line, superscript, subscript. So these are all different formatting tags here. Paragraph, pre-formatted tag, bold, italic, INS, insert, that is text with underline. DEL, delete line, that means text with strikeout line. And then superscript, then subscript. So these are all formatting tags. And then there are some control tags like IMG, image tag, anchor tag, that is for link, then input with text, input with checkbox, input with date, etc. These are all control tags. We don't require these things because we already have the screen elements in UI5 library. We don't use HTML library. We use the screen elements from UI5 Fiori library. There are some list tags like ordered list OL, unordered list UL, and list item LI. Ordered list, unordered list, and list item. OL is ordered list, UL is unordered list, LI is list item. Then there are some table related tags like table tag, TR, table row, TD, table data. These things comes under HTML part 1 according to our approach. So here, these tags are not important. Why? Because table tag is already available in the form of a screen element. Table is already available in UI5 Fiori library. We don't use HTML table from HTML library. And image, link, input with text, input with checkbox, input with date, these are already available in our UI5 Fiori library. We don't use HTML library. These screen elements are already available in UI5 Fiori directly. So we don't use HTML related tags in that case. And H1 to H6, this is just to display text with heading with a different font size. This can be achieved easily by using a text screen element with a CSS concept. These things can be achieved by using text screen element with a CSS approach. By increasing the font size, we can have H1 to H6. H1 to H6, these things can be used inside a CSS file. And in view.xml file, you can use a text screen element. For text screen element, you can assign that CSS style class, which contains CSS property, which supports H1 to H6. So all these things are achieved directly by using UI5 Fiori library. So that's the reason why these screen elements or these tags from HTML, we don't use it in Fiori development. We already have these screen elements in UI5 framework. But coming to part 2, marquee tag, this is to display text with scrolling option. This is to display text with scrolling. And iframe tag, this is to display the file content like PDF file content or text file content, JPG file content. You can use BMP file content, etc. So to display file content in our output screen, we can use iframe tag. To display text with scrolling, we can use marquee tag. Audio tag, this is to load and play audio file content. Video tag, this is to load and play video file content. Audio file content, it supports all types of audio file formats. It supports all types of audio file formats. Video tag, it supports all types of video file formats. So the last 4 tags are important for UI5 Fiori developer because we don't have these screen elements directly in UI5 framework. Marquee tag screen element, iframe tag screen element, audio tag screen element, video tag screen element. These screen elements are not available in UI5 library. So indirectly we can use HTML related tags for those things inside UI5 Free development. That's the reason why part 2 is important for UI5 Free developer. Okay, let me write a simple note. SAP UI5 Free developer point of view. HTML part 2 is important because there are no direct skin elements. There are no direct skin elements in SAP UI5 or Fiori for marquee tag or iframe tag or video tag or audio tag. There are no direct skin elements in UI5 Fiori for these things, which supports marquee tag, iframe tag, video tag, or audio tag. So that's the reason why. So we can include HTML part 2 related tags inside SAP UI5 or Fiori development with the help of HTML class. We can include HTML part 2 related tags inside UI5 Fiori development with the help of HTML class. And that is required if necessary. It's not mandatory, but if required, we can use HTML part 2 related tags in our Fiori development with the help of HTML class. Why we have to use HTML part 2? Because there are no direct skin elements in UI5 Fiori, which supports these features like marquee tag feature, iframe tag feature, video tag, or audio tag. In that case, wherever there is no feature, in that case, you can use HTML related tags. I hope you got some idea now. Very simple, very important. Let me repeat here. Why we prefer these last 4 tags is just because there are no direct skin elements in UI5 framework. That's the reason why we can include these tags in our UI5 Fiori development if required with the help of HTML class. That means we can use HTML tag inside UI5 Fiori by using HTML class. Okay, let us make it simple. If required, we can include HTML tag inside SAP UI5 Fiori application using HTML class. Not mandatory, but if required. If you want something from HTML point of view, we can include that HTML tag inside UI5 Fiori app by using HTML class. So this also we are going to discuss in the next session. First, we'll discuss part 2 in the next session. After that, we'll try to understand how to include HTML tag in UI5 Fiori development. That also we are going to discuss. And we are going to experience the output. Now, as of today, way to write and test this HTML tags for testing purpose. So what you can do is you can open your SAP Fiori project folder, that is just for testing purpose. You can open test.html file. It's not actually part of the project, but if you want to test some HTML tags, you can test it from here. There is test.html file that you can implement your HTML tags code in between body begin tag and body end tag. You can implement your HTML tags code in between body begin tag and body end tag. Whatever code you want, you can test those things by writing code in body begin tag, body end tag, and that is one extra file that will be available for Fiori project in order to test your HTML tags. That is test.html file. And don't forget here, HTML tags are case sensitive. They are not case sensitive. HTML tags are not case sensitive. HTML tags generally contains begin tag, end tag. Most of the HTML tags contains begin tag and end tag. Okay, so here you can see there is test.html file. In our project, there is test.html file. You can double click that. There is some default code, but the most important is there is body begin tag, body end tag here. So here, if you want, you can add your HTML tags. Let me take the screenshot. So there is test.html file. It's not actually part of the Fiori project, but that file will exist. So there is a body section here. Inside body section, if you want, you can remove all these lines. Doesn't matter. And if you want to add your code, you can add it here, anywhere inside body section. You can place your HTML tags code here. So there is body begin section and body end section. So in between that, you can add your HTML code tags if necessary. But this is just only for testing purpose. How to include HTML tags in original Fiori app, that's a different story, which we are going to discuss tomorrow. This is just for testing purpose. But how to add HTML tags in original Fiori app, original Fiori screens, that we are going to discuss in the next session tomorrow. Now let me start with this one, HTML part 1 heading tags. Let me write that here. And how to check the output, let me just mention that before we proceed. How to check the output of HTML code. So you can save after writing the code. Save test.html file. Then you have to right click that file. Right click test.html file. Then run as web application preview or web application. Let me take that screenshot. So you can right click here, run as web application. After adding the code and saving the file, then right click, run as web application. This is to test the output of HTML tags. Check output of HTML tags. So let me go to test.html file. So what I want to do is I want to go with HTML heading tags. First, let me experiment this. HTML heading tags. Okay, let me write the code here. So I want to use, for example, H1 tag. So use begin tag H1, end tag. In between, you can provide some heading text. Very simple. In between, you can provide some heading text. In between begin tag, end tag, let me provide some text here. So I've provided some text here. This is an actual text that should be displayed with H1 as heading. So let me save and run this. So now you can see there is a text here on top. This text is because of H1 heading tag. Oasis Technologies Training Center for UI5 Theory. So this is because of H1 heading text. Now similarly, let me experiment other tags. You can use BR. BR is break tag. For break tag, you need not have begin tag, end tag. Directly you can provide begin tag, that's it. No need of begin tag, end tag for break. I want to display the next output in the next line. So you can use break tag. After that, you can use, for example, let me test H2 tag also. And let us provide the text here. Same text I'm experimenting here. Similarly, break tag, then I want to experiment H3 tag with same text. BR is break tag. And let me test H4 tag. Use begin tag, end tag, in between provide the text. BR, H5 tag, use begin tag, end tag, in between that you can provide heading text. Let me add the last one. So you can use whichever heading tag you want. You need not use all the tags. Just for testing purpose, I'm writing everything. So H6, use begin tag, end tag. Provide the appropriate text and save it. For break tag BR, there is no need of end tag. It's an individual tag. Okay, now you can see the output here. This is part of H1 and this is H2 tag output, H3 tag, H4, H5 and H6. H1, H2, H3, H4, H5 and H6. So this is how the heading tags output will vary. From H1 to H6, the font size is decreasing here. So if you closely observe this output, so this is like H1 tag. H2, H3, H4, H5 and H6. Output of H1 to H6, this is how you can experience here. The font size will decrease from H1 to H6 here. You can notice that. The same text, but the font size is decreasing. That's the difference between heading tags, H1 to H6. Okay. Let me save this. HTML heading tags output. Okay, let me copy these lines. If you want, you can try this. So here, in original SAP UI5 Fiori, we can achieve this heading output by using a text skin element with a text property. And for text property, you can use a CSS concept by attaching style class, which internally can have the heading tag. So here in original UI5 or Fiori app, we can achieve heading output using a text skin element with a text property and assigning the style class, CSS style class. And provide CSS property with font style or font size. So font size is one of the CSS property. You can mention that in CSS file, and in your view level, you can use text skin element with text property. And for text skin element, you can add CSS style class, which contains CSS property with font size. So that this type of output you can achieve easily by using direct text skin element in UI5 Fiori. You need not use HTML tag for that purpose. That's the reason why this is not important for us. These things are not important. We can achieve these things without using HTML in our original UI5 Fiori. For example, here you can see, let me go back to our original application. There is a text skin element. You can go to object view. In object view, you can see there is a text skin element somewhere here. For text skin element, we are assigning style class 6. Style class 6, let me open that. This is a style class 6. And for style class 6 here, you can see the font size by default, we have provided 15 pixel color red. But if you want, you can increase this font size. For example, let me make it 40 pixel. And let me use font style also. Let me make it like bold. Save it and you can run. You can run your original application now. Select your project folder. You can run your original app by selecting this here. It's taking the previous preview. Let me run it. Go to properties. Okay, or else what you can do is you can right click, run this here. You can right click on project folder. You can run your original app by selecting run app in FLP sandbox. Then it opens your original app. You go to next screen. Now you can see here, you can see this is a text that is having a font size. Font size is 40 pixel and font style is bold. That's the reason why we're able to get this output, which is similar to our HTML heading tags. You can use font style and font size. With that combination, you can achieve heading text. by using text screen element with the help of CSS style class. There is no need of HTML tag in this case. That's the reason why part 1 is not at all important for us. In original UI5 Fiori app, we can achieve heading output using text screen element with text property and assign CSS style class. Provide CSS property with font size and font style. That is enough. We can achieve the same type of output. Font size, font style in CSS property with CSS style class, which can be assigned to text screen element. Then we can achieve that in UI5 Fiori without using HTML tag. That's the reason why these things are not important for us. I hope you got some idea now. Let me decrease it. Now I've decreased it, so this is a text now. Okay, let me go to the next one. Even though they are not important, we are just discussing to have an idea and continuity purpose. So HTML formatting tags. There are two tags mainly here. One is paragraph tag and pre-formatted tag. There are other tags, but first let us complete paragraph tag and pre-formatted tag. Okay, first let me experiment that here. So I want to display text with paragraph tag. So use P begin tag, end tag. Paragraph P begin tag, end tag. Within that, you can provide some text here. Example. Let me provide some empty spaces, empty lines, empty spaces. So here, paragraph P begin tag, end tag. Within that, we have provided some text. This text contains some empty lines, and there are some empty spaces. There are some empty lines and there are some empty spaces. So let me run this now. Right click here, run as web application. Now you can see the output is displayed in continuous format. It is not considering multiple empty spaces. It is not considering multiple empty lines. It is displaying the text in continuous format here. But say suppose I want to use the same thing with pre-formatted tag. I want to use it with pre-formatted tag, PRE begin tag, end tag. Within that, I want to provide this text. So pre-formatted tag, PRE begin tag, PRE end tag, and within that we have provided some text here, same like above. It also contains multiple empty lines. It also contains multiple empty spaces. But let us understand the difference between first output and the second output. So here you can see now, in first case, it is displaying the text in continuous format. In second case, it is displaying the text as it is according to our code. So pre-formatted tag will display the text as it is, whatever you supplied in your coding. It is considering empty spaces, it is considering empty lines, and it is displaying the text as it is here. In first case, it is displaying text in continuous format. So here, let me put it like this otherwise. So here, in this case, This is displayed because of paragraph tag. And this output is displayed because of pre-formatted tag. So in pre-formatted tag, multiple empty lines are displayed as it is. Multiple empty spaces are displayed as it is, according to our code. But in case of paragraph tag, it is not doing that. Multiple empty lines are suppressed to single empty space. Multiple empty spaces are suppressed to single space. Multiple empty lines are suppressed to single space, and multiple empty spaces are also suppressed to single space. That is how paragraph tag will behave. But pre-formatted tag will not suppress anything. It will display the text as it is according to your code. Okay, let me write that here. Okay, first let me copy these lines. Okay, let me write a note here. So this paragraph tag, it will suppress multiple empty lines into single space. Paragraph tag, it will suppress multiple empty lines into single space. It will suppress multiple empty spaces also into single space. And it will display the output according to this. It will suppress multiple empty lines into single space. It will suppress multiple empty spaces also into single space. That's the behavior of paragraph tag. But pre-formatted tag, it will not suppress anything. It will not suppress multiple empty lines. It will not suppress multiple empty spaces. That is, it will display text as it is. It will display the text as it is. Very simple. That's the reason why there is difference in terms of output here. Now let me go to other formatting tags. This is also HTML formatting tags. So bold tag, then there is italic tag, INS tag, and DEL tag, delete line tag. INS is insert line, that is text with underline. And you can use superscript tag, subscript tag. All these are also formatting tags. So tag B, this is to display text in bold format. Bold, that is B tag, it is to display text in bold format. Tag I, this is to display text in italic format. Tag I, it is to display text in italic format. INS, insert tag, that is to display text with underline. INS tag, that is to display text with underline. DEL, this is to display text with strikeout line. This is to display text with strikeout line, that is DEL, delete tag. SUP, that is superscript tag, to display text with superscript format. And SUB, subscript, this is to display text with subscript format. You can implement below code to test the output. Okay, let me add those things. Let me remove here. First, let me go with bold text. So you can use tag B, begin tag, end tag. Tag B, begin tag, end tag. These are HTML tags. You can use uppercase, lowercase, it doesn't matter. They are not case sensitive. So here, let me provide some text. Text we are providing here. Display text in bold format, we are using tag B, begin tag, end tag. In between that, we are providing the original text. We'll experiment everything at once. So here, let me use BR, line break. You can have a number of break tags here to generate empty lines and to display the output in the next line. Let me use tag I, italic text. I want to display text with italic format. So you can use tag I, begin tag, end tag. And in between that begin tag, end tag, you can supply this text. Similarly, let me use 2 line breaks here. After that, I want to display text with underline. So you can use INS, begin tag, end tag. INS is HTML tag. It can be uppercase, lowercase, it doesn't matter. So you can use begin tag, end tag. In between that, provide the text. So that is to display text with underline. Let me use two more line breaks here. I want to display text with strikeout line. To display text with strikeout line, you can use DEL, delete tag, begin tag, end tag, and provide the text in between. Similarly, I want to display text with some superscript format. I want to display the text. In that text, some of the text I want to display in superscript format. So first, let me use bold text here. The bold text. Let me generate some lines. So here, this is the bold text I want to display. Inside this text, I want to display SAP UI5 Fiori. I want to display SAP UI5 Fiori as part of superscript. This is the text that will be displayed in bold format because we are using tag B. And inside that, let me make it SAP UI5 as a superscript, for example. So here you can use SUP. SUP, begin tag, end tag. I want to use it for SAP UI5. So this is the overall bold text it will display. In that bold text, SAP UI5 will be displayed as a superscript because SAP UI5 is in between begin tag, end tag of superscript. Okay, similarly, let me generate two empty lines by using break tag. And here I want to display again same bold text. Inside this bold text, I want to display SAP UI5 as subscript. So you can use tag SUB, begin tag, end tag. In between that, you can provide the text whichever you want to display in subscript format. So let us observe the output, then you can get more clarity. So here you can see when you run this, we are able to get this output now. Remove unwanted lines. So here this is text with bold format. And this is text with italic format. And you can see text with underline. There is underline here. You can notice that. The text with underline. That is because of insert tag. And here there is a text with strikeout line. You can notice that. Text with strikeout line, that is because of delete tag. And again, there is a bold text here. In bold text, you can see SAP UI5 is subscript here. Sorry, superscript here. It is displaying bold text. In bold text, SAP UI5 is displayed as a superscript here. And then there is again a bold text. In this bold text, there is SAP UI5 as subscript here. So in terms of display point of view, there is some difference for UI5. In previous case, it is superscript. In this case, it is subscript. So, okay, this is like bold tag, italic, then this is INS, DEL, this is like superscript, bold text with superscript, bold text with subscript. That output you can understand from here. HTML formatting tags output. Now let me copy these lines. Not important, but anyhow, you can try these things. Now let me go with some HTML control tags. For example, I want to use image tag. We don't use it in our UI5 theory, but better to know. We already have image screen element. We already have image screen element in UI5 framework. We use that in our theory development. We don't use HTML image tag. Anyhow, this is to display image or icon. Can implement below code for testing purpose. Let me add that image tag here. IMG. Can use SRC. SRC is a property even in HTML library. Image tag contains SRC property. For that, you can provide some image name. For example, ajay.jpg file. So this is HTML related image tag. We don't use this. We always use image screen element in our theory development, not image tag from HTML. Okay, let me run this. So here you can see there is Ajay photograph, ajay.jpg file that is displayed here. Similarly, let me use link screen element. Link is nothing but anchor tag here. HTML A tag. A tag is anchor tag that is for displaying a text with hyperlink. This is to display text with hyperlink. We don't use anchor tag because we already have a link screen element. We already have link screen element in SAP UI5 framework that can be used in Fiori development. We don't use anchor tag. Instead, we use link screen element. That's the reason why this is not important. Image screen element is already available. So that's the reason why image from HTML is not important for us. Anyhow, let me just write it here. It is to redirect. It is to redirect a website or a web application using URL address. Okay, just for testing purpose, let us implement below code. Use 2 line breaks here. Let me use tag A. And here you can use href property. You can provide some text, for example, Google website. And here tag A, it contains href property. For href property, you can provide URL address. URL address of any website or a web application or some other application URL address you can provide. Whichever contains URL address that can be used as part of href property. For example, just let me make it like www.google.com. Okay, let me save and run this. Now you can see there is hyperlink, Google website hyperlink below the image. If I click on this, it will redirect. This is similar to link screen element in UI5, which we have already used it in Fiori development. So if you click on this, it redirects to that website using URL address. Okay, so let me just copy this line. Now let me go with HTML input tags. It's not important, but let us just understand this. Input tags are used to accept input from end user. You can implement below code. Try different input tags here. So here I want to use input tag. Input with type equal to something like text here. Input is a tag, type is a attribute, and for that text is a value. So here input with type equal to text, that is possible. You can accept input in the form of text screen element. Similarly, you can use BR, line break. Let me use another input tag with type equal to, for example, let me use password. These are all HTML tags, HTML input tag. HTML input tag supports type equal to text, type equal to password, type equal to date, type equal to checkbox. Okay, let me use again input tag, HTML input tag. This is not a UI5 related input tag. This is HTML input tag. And input tag with type equal to, for example, we can use checkbox here. Similarly, let me try again input tag with type equal to, for example, date. Input tag with type equal to date. So these are all input tags with different types here. Type equal to text, type equal to password, type equal to checkbox, type equal to date. And there are other options also. So let me run this. So here you can see now below the link there is type equal to text. So you can provide some text here. And then there is type equal to password. So you can see it will accept the characters which are hidden characters. And the type equal to checkbox, you can select or deselect. And then there is type equal to date. So you'll get a calendar to pick the dates. So you can see that here. So if you closely observe this output, these are all control tags. Just like HTML image tag, this anchor tag, and this is input with type equal to text. Here there is input with type equal to something like password. Input with type equal to checkbox. Then we have used input with type equal to date. So you'll get output in different formats. These are all control tags, but these are not required for UI5 Fiori developer because these things are used in the form of screen elements from our UI5 framework. We don't use this HTML input tags, HTML image tag, HTML anchor tag. We already have these screen elements in UI5 framework. So we don't need HTML tags in our Fiori development, especially these things. Not necessary because they are available in the form of screen elements in UI5 framework. Let me just copy these lines. Let me go with HTML list tags. OL is ordered list. UL is unordered list. And LI is list item. Ordered list, unordered list, list item. So you can implement below code. Okay, let me add some list of items here. Okay, so here, let me use ordered list, OL, as ordered list. Use begin tag, end tag. OL, use begin tag, end tag. Ordered list, within that you can have collection of list items. For display purpose, you can have collection of list items here. For example, LI, list item, use begin tag, end tag, and you can provide some text here. Similarly, second list item, you can provide another text. Third list item, use begin tag, end tag. List item, LI, begin tag, end tag. Let me add one more list item. So ordered list with collection of list items. Each list item contains a text. Now, to understand the difference between ordered list and unordered list, so let me add unordered list also. Let me use unordered list with the same code, the same list items. I want to use unordered list. Let me use, instead of OL, let me use UL, unordered list. Begin tag, unordered list, end tag. This is with ordered list items. This is unordered list items. I've used two break lines just to generate some space to understand the output difference between these two things. Ordered list with collection of list items, unordered list with collection of list items. So let us run this output. So here you can see, in this case, so here we are able to get two types of list items, ordered list and unordered list. In ordered list, you are getting numbers by default in a sequence, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In unordered list, you are not getting any numbers. That's a basic difference. This is ordered list output. You're getting numbers by default. This is dark circles here. This is unordered list. So that's a basic difference. This is OL, ordered list. This is UL, unordered list. Okay, let me make it like this. HTML. With list items. Let me copy these lines. Now let me go with one more tag, that is HTML table tag. So table tag, this is for table creation. You can use table tag, that is for table creation. And you can use TR tag, table row. TR, that is table row. Is for table row, and TD is another tag we have to use along with table. There is TD, that is table data. Is table tag, another is table row tag, then table data tag. Okay, let me implement this. It's not really required for us. HTML table is not required because we already have table screen element in UI5 framework from SAP.m library. We don't use HTML table at all in our Fiori development. We always use our table screen element from SAP.m library. Okay, just for knowledge purpose, let me implement below code. Let me add that here. Example. I want to use table. Use begin tag, end tag. For table, you can use some attribute like border with something like 1. And here you can use collection of table rows. Within table tag, begin tag, end tag, you can have collection of table rows. Let us use static data here, TR. It's first table row. Second table row, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, something like that. So you can add n number of table rows. Row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, etc. But first row, let us dedicate first row for displaying the column labels. So for that, you can use TD, table data, and you can provide the column label, for example, user ID. Second, table data, that is to display, for example, first name. Or table data, that is to display, for example, country. And then, for example, salary. So first row, first table row, we are dedicating for displaying the column labels. From second row onwards, we can display the actual record by using table data. So here, let me use the same syntax. In table row, we are using table data. So first record, let me make it, for example, 1001. Similarly, let me add the next table row with a record using table data, TD tag. Let me use, for example, 1002. Just add some collection of rows by using table data for each record value. So here, what we're trying to do is we're trying to use table tag. In between that table begin tag, end tag, we are using collection of table rows. Each row is represented with table data for each record value. You can see that. So let me save and run this. So now you can see, if you scroll down, you can see there is a table with user ID, first name, country, salary. This is a table that is created through HTML table. We don't use this HTML table in our UI5 Fiori. We use a table screen element from sap.m library in Fiori development. Just for knowledge purpose, we have written the code, and this is how the output looks like. This is like HTML table tag outputs. So row 1, row 2, row 3, etc. This is also considered as row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, row 5, etc. Each row, each record value is represented by using table data. Each row record value is represented by using table data, TD tag. Okay, this is not important. Just let us not worry too much about this. So this is HTML table tag outputs. Okay, let me copy these lines. Okay, so here, let me give one very important note. In SAP UI5 or Fiori applications, we always use SAP UI5 Fiori framework related screen elements. In SAP UI5 or Fiori apps, we always use SAP UI5 Fiori related screen elements from SAP.m library. We always use our screen elements from SAP.m library, but not from HTML library. In UI5 Fiori development, we always use our screen elements from SAP.m library, but not from HTML library. It can be table tag, input tag, or checkbox, date picker. Those things we use it from our SAP.m library, not from HTML library. Why SAP.m library? Because SAP UI5 Fiori, SAP UI5 Fiori framework why SAP.m library, why UI5 Fiori framework is recommended, why not HTML library? Because SAP UI5 Fiori framework screen elements are more dynamic. Our UI5 Fiori screen elements are more dynamic here and contains more properties. SAP UI5 Fiori framework screen elements are more dynamic in nature and it supports more properties. That is one of the reasons. The second reason is SAP UI5 Fiori framework screen elements. SAP UI5 Fiori framework screen elements supports data bindings directly with OData services. Supports data bindings with backend OData services. All types of services for database operations. Our UI5 Fiori screen elements supports data bindings with backend OData services directly for dealing with database operations. That's a second reason. That's the reason why we have to prefer our UI5 Fiori screen elements. It supports direct data bindings with backend services. Backend services deals with database operations. If you use HTML library screen elements, you need to write a lot of code to support backend database operations. If you use HTML library screen elements, you have to write a lot of code to deal with backend database interaction. But in our case, if you use screen elements from SAP.m library, it by default supports data bindings so that our code becomes very easy when you are interacting with backend OData services. And not only that, SAP UI5 Fiori framework screen elements. SAP UI5 Fiori framework screen elements are responsive screen elements. It supports all types of devices. SAP UI5 Fiori screen elements are responsive because it supports all types of devices. Like desktop, laptop, tablet, mobile. Supports all types of device screens. That's the third reason why we need to prefer UI5 Fiori screen elements. And another reason is SAP UI5 Fiori screen elements. With less code, we can achieve more features. With less code, we can achieve more features. That's another simple reason. By writing less code, by using XML code for UI5 Fiori framework, libraries, classes, properties, methods, events, with less code, we can achieve more features. That's also another reason. But the first three reasons are very important. First three reasons are, one of the reason is more dynamic, more properties are supported. And data bindings are supported with backend services. And they're responsive. It supports all devices. The first three reasons are very important. The last reason is very simple. It supports less code with more features. That's the reason why UI5 Fiori related screen elements are recommended, not HTML library screen elements. But there are only 4 tags that we can use it whenever required. Why? Because UI5 Fiori doesn't contain these 4 features. In special cases, we can use this 4 tags here: market tag, iframe tag, audio tag, video tag. These things we can use it from HTML point of view. HTML library can be used in Fiori framework indirectly because these screen elements are not available in UI5 framework in SAP.m library. They are not available. So indirectly we can use HTML, this type of HTML tags in Fiori framework or Fiori applications. So if you feel that feature is not available, indirectly you can use HTML in that case, not every time. So in 4 special cases, we use HTML related tags in Fiori development. One is market tag, iframe tag, audio tag, video tag, because these screen elements are not available in UI5 framework. So tomorrow we'll focus on that. No need to worry. So in tomorrow's session, we're going to discuss 2 things. One is like HTML part 2 and how to use HTML tags inside original Fiori app. What are various HTML part 2 tags and how to use HTML tags inside original Fiori app. As of today, we are writing everything in test.html file. Test.html file is not an original Fiori app file. Test.html file is not part of original Fiori application. Today we have tested by writing code here. But what we'll do is in tomorrow's session, we'll try to understand how to use HTML tag inside original Fiori application. How to display that HTML tag related output in view.xml file. That means how to display HTML feature inside view.xml file, which is technically original Fiori app. Test.html is not original Fiori app file. View.xml files are original Fiori app files for displaying the screens. So that also we are going to discuss how to display any HTML feature inside view.xml file. After that, I'll clarify your doubts. No need to worry. I'll stop here.